What's up, guys? I'm Dave, the Military Millionaire, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I'm finding properties off market for incredible deals. And for context, last week I posted a video or made a post on the Facebook group that said, hey, I found this fourplex for $90,000. Current rents are $1,865. Yeah, I'm going to pay utilities, but it's still an incredible deal, right? It's going to need some upkeep. It's not the greatest property in the world, like nice luxury property, but it's going to cash flow wonderfully. And everybody was like, oh my God, how'd you find that? The market's crazy right now. So I decided to make a quick video that just covers the basics on some of the systems and processes I'm using to find these deals offline. So hopefully you get something out of this. Now, please, if you got something out of this, make sure you subscribe and click the little notification bell so you see more content. But let's dig in. Now, first off, what is off-market real estate? Now, when people talk about off-market real estate, what they're referencing to is any property that's not currently listed on the MLS or multiple listing service, which is where all the real estate agents list properties for sale. Now, why is off-market real estate better for investing, you might ask? Now, there's a few reasons that investors prefer to find these off-market deals, but they really all boil down to the fact that you can often get a lower purchase price or a better deal on properties that you find off market. And there's two main reasons that I think this is true. Generally, the reasons you can score a better deal is that there's little or no competition, and the seller won't have to pay commissions with a real estate agent. So lack of competition is when a property gets listed on the MLS, especially right now in a hot seller's market like in 2021, there's a whole lot of market competition. This year, for example, properties are selling on the MLS for over the asking price a lot. I mean, it's not easy to find deals online right now. Heck, it's not even easy to just buy a house online right now. So not only are there less eyes on the property when it's off market, but there really aren't real estate agents on both ends of the transaction to mess with negotiations. And don't get me wrong, real estate agents are great, and you absolutely shouldn't think that I'm saying anything differently. In fact, I recommend that you use them on most of your transactions, especially on your first or second transaction. That being said, it is easier to negotiate face-to-face with the person who owns the home than it is to play telephone, where you've got multiple people in the line through two different real estate agents, and also the seller may just care about different aspects of the deal than what the agent thinks are important, and things can get unnecessarily muddied throughout the negotiations, right? You've all played telephone where you say yellow canary, and by the end it's like Joe killed Mary, and you're like, oh my God, how did we get that? But it's just communication breakdowns. It is what it is. The other piece is the no real estate commissions, right? These are normally about 3% on the buyer side, 3% on the seller's side, meaning that if you remove the commission from the deal, there's theoretically 6% less that you could pay for the property, and the seller would walk away with the same amount of cash after closing. Now, that's a great way to lock in a quick discount, even if you are looking at retail pricing, right? So if you sell to me before you list this property, I'll offer you 3 to 5% below list price, but because you're not going to have to pay commissions, you'll still walk away with more money in your pocket, right? It's a simple win-win scenario, and I love a good win-win. Now, as a bonus here, the seller won't have to deal with inspections or appraisals because a lot of times I'm just waiving all of that, right? So properties I'm hunting most likely wouldn't qualify for a loan. And for that reason, the property would struggle to sell on the MLS anyway. But it allows me to pay less for a property because I'll write the offer to buy cash as is, which alleviates a lot of the stress from the seller, while simultaneously allowing me to lock in a solid discount. When we want to dig into whether or not you should buy off-market deals, the answer is really maybe. So it's going to depend on how experienced an investor you are and what your risk tolerance levels are. You can absolutely make a killing finding your own off-market deals, but you can also lose a fortune if you buy the wrong property as is and just get hosed because you forgot or didn't realize the foundation was falling into a sinkhole, or right, like there are things that can definitely go wrong with this. So I recommend that most people take their first deal and maybe their second or third deal down with a real estate agent in a normal transaction to fully understand what potholes to avoid and how the buying process works. Now, that's one of the reasons that I tell everybody that house hacking, which I've got videos on, is my favorite way for anyone to get their start in real estate for a lot of reasons, right? And I've got tons of content on that. Hit me up if you got questions. But that being said, if you want to find the best deals on real estate, you should absolutely find your own deals off market. So now we get to the good part. How do you find off-market real estate deals? odds are that if you found this video or the coinciding article online, you already knew that you wanted to buy deals off market, you just didn't really know how to, and you were doing that research. So here's the good stuff that you've been waiting for. The first thing we're going to talk about is Propstream. Now, Propstream is the most all-inclusive real estate app for investors, and I cannot recommend it enough. Think of this as the investor's version of the MLS Access, but on steroids. So Propstream allows you to search for properties, pull lists of homes in the market, skip trace leads, pull tax information on properties, pull linked properties people own, see how many properties that potential seller owns through the linked properties, and so much more. Propstream has been an absolute godsend for me as I've been ramping up my marketing for deals, and I will absolutely be using it for years to come. Not only can you find almost any information you could ever want on a property and run accurate comps on them, but you can even send postcards directly from the system. So, and you can see all the properties on and off the market, not just the properties listed on the MLS, which is awesome. Now, on top of all of this, Propstream allows you to skip trace on site, which is perfect for when you may want to just call or text a lead instead of sending them letters, which is my preferred way of finding deals. Now, I take every letter that comes back as a return to sender, and I either text or call that lead in order to make sure I'm getting in touch with them. For a deep dive, check out the full review I did on Propstream. There's a video here, there's an article on the website, there's way more information in there, and I'll make sure I put a link down below with for a free trial if you want to give it a trial run. Propstream is like the #1 platform I recommend. I use it every day. It's awesome. The next one up, number 2, is REI Sift. Now, this is the newest tool that I've added to my tool belt, and it's actually becoming one of my favorites very quick. In fact, I'm recording a podcast with the founder this afternoon, and he's going to come speak to my mastermind group next month. Now, REI Sift is a data management tool that allows you to market more like a sniper than a crew-served weapon. REI Sift allows you to upload every list you pull, tag them in a certain way, and then stack them all together to find the most motivated sellers to market to. For example, yesterday I drove by a property that was all boarded up. I added it to my little Driving for Dollars list in Propstream, and when I exported that list and uploaded it to REI Sift, I tagged it as Driving for Dollars. Now, I was looking through my list of properties that I had found while driving for dollars, and I filtered the records for only properties that were tagged that way. And I immediately noticed that the property I had just uploaded was also tagged as a code violation in the city and as pre-probate. So this property had 3 major red flags. So I skip traced it, picked up the phone, and called the owner. I will be looking at the property on Thursday, and if my appointment goes well, I should be able to lock this up immediately. So REI Sift is definitely not necessary when you're first starting out, but if you plan on doing consistent marketing or a lot of volume, it's going to save you a fortune compared to what it costs down the road. And again, like all this is just a basic overview, so I did a full video and a full article on REI Sift if you want the full details. I just tell you this, if you're going to scale or you're wanting to go long-term with marketing, it's going to save you a fortune, and it's better to start on the beginning than to deal with it on the back end. All right. Ballpoint Marketing. Ballpoint and I are going to be doing business together for a long time. In fact, there's actually a really good chance that you've already seen the ads that I've been running all over my platform for them. I believe in these mailers so much that I was okay staking my reputation behind them to help them grow. Ballpoint is the best direct mail marketing company that I've ever used, and in the last 6 months, I've purchased and launched 13,200 and some odd mailers. I actually just purchased another 7,000, so I guess 20,000 mailers. And from them, I've purchased, I haven't dropped those 7 yet, but from them I've purchased 8 homes, 6 of which I wholesaled, and I took control of a 40-unit hotel, 39 additional units from that same seller, and I'm currently under contract on the fourplex that we were just talking about for $90,000. The reason that Ballpoint is so effective is that they look like they're handwritten letters, and they have very eye-catching letters, which increase your open rate dramatically. Now, I could go on and on about how much of a big fan of Ballpoint marketing I really am, but I already did this in an article, so I've got a whole bunch of content actually about Ballpoint. The reason that I prefer direct mail to cold calling or text blasting boils down to time. I can order the mailers, drop them in the mail, and wait for the phone to ring. Both of the other options either involve me calling or texting people myself to drive leads, or hiring other people to do this for me. And while neither of these options is bad, I found that my best use of time when first starting out was to focus on lead management, data management, and appointments and negotiations, and to just let the marketing handle itself. That's why I made it as simple as possible to get the phone to ring. Drop letters in the mail, drink a beer, answer the phone, or pay for a call center to answer the phone in my case, and that's it. Again, if you want more information on Ballpoint specifically, just search here. I've got videos, I've got discount code down below, and then I've also got a couple of articles actually on the website, or just sit around and wait and watch one of my commercials with them. Anyway, give them a shot. You'll love it. Cold calling. I'm currently looking at bringing my first cold caller in for business. Several of my friends have had a lot of success with cold calling, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. You can cold call yourself by skip tracing a lead, picking up the phone, and you guessed it, calling them. I know. Mind blown. Or you can just hire a virtual assistant to cold call for you, which is easier said than done. That's what my friends have done, but they've also hired from like a company that specializes in hiring VAs for cold calling. I can tell you that as a former Marine Corps recruiter, and I had to make a whole lot of cold calls, I would definitely recommend going with the VA before you decide to just pick up the phone and make 10,000 phone calls yourself, but to each their own. Text blasting is another option for marketing that's become popular recently, or it's called text blasting or SMS marketing. I'm not going to recommend a specific company here because I really haven't decided on which one I like the most. Now, I've used Launch Control and Lead Sherpa, and several of my friends have used REI Skip. I'm really not sure which one I'm going to decide to use long term, if I decide to use one, but I just use the text blasting system right now for any time I have like a return to sender mailer, but perhaps one day I'll make it a much larger percentage of my marketing, and we'll see. So lots of people in my market still use landlines, and so a direct mail is just, it seems to be a better return for me and more predictable amount of leads for me for how much marketing I'm doing. Now, RE Simply. This is the real estate CRM that I personally use to track all of my deals from the moment somebody calls in until I buy or offload their property. Now, it's tracked through RE Simply, and there's simply just no way that I would ever be able to keep track of all my leads without this CRM. The more leads you bring in, the busier your life will become, and the harder it will be to follow up with leads appropriately. RE Simply it not only tracks all of the leads that come in, but it also allows me to follow them along the lead pipeline. So I can move them from no contact made to appointment set to offer made to under contract to assigned or bought or sold or whatever, and also to dead lead when they tell me to go screw myself. It also allows me to set up automatic text message follow-up systems or drip campaigns, and I love that because I can just set a lead that ghosted me on an automatic drip and stay in touch until they either ask to be taken off the list or they come back to me, and it doesn't take any of my time. I don't have to remember to follow up with them, and that's amazing, which allows me to focus on more promising leads. Now, to drive home just how powerful this is, this Saturday, my team is meeting a lady at her property, and she has 2 homes on one parcel, to look at it, right? And that we're going to give her an offer and whatever, and the price she's already asking is very tempting, so this might just work out for us. Now, unless there's something really wrong with the property, I think it's going to be a solid deal. So this lady was one of the first 3 leads I ever input into RE Simply, and she's been on a drip campaign for almost a year now. If it wasn't for the automatic drip follow-up system, I wouldn't have been the person she called when she finally decided to look into selling the home. But because we stayed in front of her automatically, hey. So assuming that deal goes through, that follow-up system will single-handedly pay for my entire RE Simply subscription for the next 2 to 3 years. All right, a couple of additional systems for finding off-market deals. These aren't necessary for starting out, but I do use these as well. So the first one is Call Porter. Now, Call Porter's been a game changer for me. It's a little bit pricey, but it's the call center that Ryan Dossi built for himself, and then it was so successful that he decided to scale it into a full business. So when somebody calls my phone, like whatever, they get a letter from me, they call the phone, it automatically forwards to Call Porter, and a Call Porter rep answers the phone. They screen the caller, input all of their information into a CRM, and they'll even schedule the seller appointment for me using my calendar link in order to put it on my calendar at a time that works well for me. This allows me to drop letters in the mail and then just sit back and wait for seller appointments to appear on my calendar. Then I simply jump on the phone, schedule a time to walk through the property with them, and then write an offer on their property, hopefully there on the spot, right? Now, I don't know if Call Porter will give you a discount if you tell them that you heard about them through me, but it can't hurt because several people have joined, and it is what it is. But again, this isn't something you're going to need right off the bat. They don't have a referral system or anything, but I just know that I'm receiving a small discount, so maybe they'll hook you up. Not something that you need to worry about right off the bat, but like for me, I had no way to answer the phones, right? I was working in a skiff, so what was going to happen? You may find that you don't mind answering the phone. you may not be able to. So it's really going to depend on that, because you can't be dropping calls, right? You can't just not answer the phone when people call in. You're going to need that. So just making sure that, if you're like me and you hate answering the phones and you don't like hearing the F you, take me off your list calls, and maybe you worked in a vault or work in a vault, answering the phone is not the most convenient thing. So at that point, look at Call Porter. At this point, I do it just because of scale. I can't answer, hundreds of phone calls and still get other stuff done. So, yeah. All right, Investor Carrot is another piece of it. Answers the question for another piece of the off-market lead puzzle, which is building a website that generates leads passively. My friend Ryan recommended Carrot to me, and after doing my own research, I realized he was right. Ultimately, I ended up buying the domain for Freedom Properties, which is selltofreedom.com if you want to go look at it, and then launching my Carrot website last fall. Now, Carrot's an awesome website that allows you to build credibility and rank on Google, search engine optimization in your market, so that people will find your company when they're looking to sell their home. I'm not going to really dig deep into this because it's a little bit more complex, but I wrote a comprehensive review about Investor Carrot. It's on the website. I also made a video about that one, so if you want to search here. Either way, there is a link, down below. I think they give you a free trial. I don't really know why a free trial would be helpful, because by the time you build a website, you're not going to want to unbuild the website. Anyway, I'm currently on the light plan. I'm really debating going to the pro plan as I write this right now. It's like $100 more, and they provide extra content and stuff and some extra features. So, but light plan has been good for me over the last year. I've landed one deal from a Carrot lead, which has already paid for the next 4 years of it, and it's completely passive, right? People find you, so pretty cool. So we've talked about finding off-market real estate deals, and this turned into a much longer video than I originally anticipated, but I hope you found it beneficial. So there's so much more to unpack here. This is just kind of a wave top overview of the systems that I'm using and the processes that I'm using and how they weave together. I'm hoping to do a full-blown course on off-market deals at some point. If you got questions about these platforms, hit me up. Learning to find my own off-market deals was a complete game changer for me, and the return on investment has been 100% worth my time. Again, this is just a brief overview, but if you're interested in a coaching program like I'm in, I would be happy to introduce you to Ryan and his team over at Create Cashflow or CCF. Well, I don't believe this is necessary to get started. I can tell you that it certainly helped me get off the ground and running much faster. But either way, happy hunting. Feel free to comment or message me your questions about this article, and I'm happy to answer them. So if you got other questions, or you're confused, or you want to see how a platform works, let me know. I mean, those questions that you ask will probably help me in figuring out the next content to really help you guys increase your game. Also, comment down below, tell me what you liked or didn't like about this video or my new setup, and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.